Yeah, I mean, I think people, people need to have reasons to get up and get going every day and do what they need to do. And, I think organizations like the Roberson, other nonprofits, they can inspire people, and that inspiration can help them go do something that potentially turns into a business or a living or or a hobby or whatever it is. And I think that's a really important part of life. And that's why I've always supported the arts. And Michael is an artist. I mean, he's also a leader, and he's an executive and all that stuff. But I think at his core, he's a creative, and I think that's what makes him different, because I think he's developed very strong management skills, very strong fundraising skills, but he's an artist, and he sees that place as like a canvas for people to go figure out what they can do. And to me, that sort of becomes a platform for trying to address the kinds of challenges that you're talking about. That's a tough one, because I think the world is going to continue to evolve. But I mean, I don't know. I read a lot about AI. I read a lot about technology. I read a lot about the way that the world of work is changing. And in terms of Roberson, what does Roberson what does Roberson have to offer on all that stuff, or just basically in terms of preserving arts and history in the community? And as we said, giving people an actual place to go and connect, and potentially meet other people and do things. And they're in the middle of a major campaign right now. They're raising a good ton of money, which is amazing. They're redoing their whole campus in a way. They're going to be more environmentally sustainable. They've had some flood issues there. They're going to try to address that. They're going to try to have more, they're going to use more, natural sources for energy. They can be a trendsetter, like they should be. And I think Michael is kind of a trendsetter, and we need to keep him around for a while. But one way to do that is to keep making that place as cutting edge as possible, and all the craziness that's going on in the world. I think partially because of COVID, maybe, and also because the world is changing. There's this Micron project going on in Syracuse, which is a huge project. I think it's going to have an impact on all of the central part of New York State, including Binghamton. So I see people all the time around who have moved here for some reason, and they want to do really interesting things. We've got a guy that I was just having lunch with him who moved to Binghamton, and he's part of a company, he's doing something, but he has a side gig where he basically takes people in kayaks up and down the river. And we're going to do a business of the week with him, Tom, in a couple weeks, and I'm going to go try to get into a kayak and interview him. It's going to be kind of a scary thing, but I guess my point is that there's people like that are increasingly showing up and sticking around. They're young, they're smart, they've got cool things that they're interested in, and they're willing to put themselves out there and try to make some things happen. And I love that. I think that's really, I've always thought that Binghamton was like Boulder, or places like Boulder, outdoorsy, tech-oriented, education, healthcare. It's very encouraging. I mean, I'm glad that I'm still alive to see it.